Director of Disability Connections, Jon Hart. Hey, Jon.
Hey, Bart.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
How was 2022 for Disability Connections?
It was a good year. It's just like everything else. Change is a constant. You just got to stick with it. But I think we had a good, effective year for giving people services and having people being included in the community.
It's awesome. I know there's really a lot of services, a pretty wide-ranging mission, but today I know you wanted to share with our viewers the meat and potatoes of what you guys do as far as your core mission.
Yeah, so we were just talking before and just talking about how does it go, and it's the same every year. We want to give more access and inclusion to people with disabilities. So we do what are called core services, our main services, and those are individual and systems advocacy, so helping people advocate for themselves. So if they have some wish and it's not being heard and they're a person with a disability, we can help them work on that. We look for things in the community that could better suit people with disabilities. We worked with the fair this year to make it more accessible. I've been working with the city manager to talk about the courthouse parking situation, that it's, a lot of accessible parking is kind of a distance down a hill. Mm-hmm. So during the wintertime, it's a little sketchy, so we've been working on that progress. So we look at personal systems advocacy. We do information referral. So just kind of like the people in here that were from Ganton, just letting people know the resources and the things that are available to them. So we do that, but within the community, what's available for the people in the community to make it so they can stay in the community. We also work on transitions, which is for youth and people that are trying to leave nursing homes or hospitals. And it's a thing called options counseling for people that don't qualify for the help out of nursing homes but want to do some planning. Like maybe they want to go and get a nursing home and do an independent living unit, or maybe they want to live with a roommate or in a congregated setting. And then we do peer support, which means that's one of our biggest things. It's people with disabilities who support other people with disabilities.
And you're I think, overseeing the Center for Independent Living. Is that part of?
Well, that is what we're called. It's weird because that's what we're called, is the Center for Independent Living, but nobody lives there. So people are always like, where are all the people at? And nobody lives there. It's really a thing about resources and access to resources so people can stay in the community. And it's called the Center for Independent Living because some people may not remember this, maybe it's before their time, but people with disabilities used to just be able to be put in nursing homes and other facilities and institutions against their will, and you couldn't get out. So they just said, it's not up to you, you can't do that. So there's a movement called the Independent Living Philosophy Movement, which says that people with disabilities should live in the community and have access to everything that people without disabilities have. And so we really house all the resources and services for people to do that.
And people can become disabled.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Right. It's basically you are either born, acquire through some kind of incident, or you age into disability. So in the community, and that means Jackson County, one in 4 people has a disability of some kind. Yeah, it's demographics, it's a census demographic. So those folks didn't always start with disabilities, but then there's people that have had a disability their entire life and experience culture a little bit differently than somebody that even acquires. So there's different needs and different aspects for all people and all different ability levels. We're really about helping folks do that themselves and then getting the community to include people as much as possible.
So there's a number of services that are offered, and this really, I think, for somebody that suddenly, they break something, they can't walk all of a sudden. Some of this equipment that they suddenly need can be pretty expensive.
Yeah, and we have a thing called the Durable Medical Equipment Closet, and that is through friends in our community donating those things to us, and we maintain and we repair those things, and then those can go out back in the community for a very low or no cost depending on your income. And those things can be temporary disabilities or long-term for adaptive things. So things like wheelchairs, shower benches, walker with wheels, those kind of things. And then we can get even into more intimate equipment, I guess, like electronic stuff, assistive technology that's more person-centered for that particular thing. So we have that, and we're open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday with the loan closet. We do curbside, or people can come in. We're having masks still because we work with people with underlying conditions and want to make sure that nobody has problems because they come to us. We want to help them get rid of their problems or alleviate some of their issues.
Well, I think, what is it, half your staff?
Yeah, it's 51% or more by rule has a disability. We're really at about 78%, 77%. And that's our philosophy, that peers should be delivering these services and peers should be providing these answers. So people with disabilities helping people with disabilities.
So you mentioned senior citizens and nursing homes, but it's not just people that are older.
No.
There's even kids
It's
and
the
teens.
it's the gamut, right? And and the gamut is, we have staff that's embedded at Kit Young, works at Lyle Torrent and Kit Young with families. We have a partnership with the Jackson County Intermediate School District to make that work. We each share cost of that person's salary to make sure that they're available as a resource. And that person's name is Jackie Morris. She works out there. Previously worked with the friend of the court. It was Holly Peterson, but Jackie's taken over that role, which is a big set of things. We work with high school age students. We do a thing called pre-employment transition services, which gives work skills and just general communication skills. And then we really want, this year as a focus of ours, one of our themes, is to really work on that transition period for students with disabilities. Once they become an adult, what are they going to do? And we want to be there to assist them with their options.
Yeah, and these are some of the goals that you have for the upcoming year, including transition program and getting really more people to know about disability connections.
That's right. We have a very small but powerful staff, right? You're only as good as the people that you have, so we're very lucky to have great staff members at all things. But it becomes a challenge, because if you're that small, we serve Jackson, Lenawee, and Hillsdale counties. So 15 people trying to serve, what is it, like 300,000 people. It's quite a demand. But we really have made it a thing of ours. We've always been in the space of inclusion, diversity, equity, inclusion, because that's what people with disabilities is about, working with folks and making sure they have access. We want all people in all parts of our community, all underserved populations, all outlying, rural communities, people that are minorities, to know that this is a place for them. And that movement has been involved with all these people over time. So we have lots of figures, but we want everybody to know that they're welcome and that it's for them, no matter who they are, where they come from. If they're isolated in an urban setting or isolated in a rural setting, or they're feeling full but they need more for themselves, they're welcome.
Yeah, that's a good point. DEI is not just about race.
Nope, it's about everything. And what we're saying is, whatever walk of life you're from, you're welcome there. We have some peers that know what you're going through. I've worked with other people in certain groups that get it. And so we want that to make sure that people understand we view the person as a bunch of what they are, not just one thing. So disability is only a part of one part of what you are. Where you're from is only one part of where you're from. We want to bring the whole person there. Did
the pandemic make more people isolated?
Yeah, yes and no. I'll put it that way. So physically, I would say, like, the contact of people, the physicality of being in a room with somebody, that's way different than being on Zoom. So we had people on Zoom, and we even met with people with masks on. I do think that there's more isolation because there's a feeling of being together in person that is much different. But we still gave services and tried to meet people where they were and introduce them to some of these technologies, right? Most people are sick of it. I think we're all kind of sick of it, but it still gave this opportunity to engage and not be totally isolated. So there was a great value in being able to access those things quite immediately. I mean, I never really worked with Zoom. Like, I think I worked with WebEx or Cisco. So, like, kind of a little outdated, but just being able to contact person, check on them. We did calls all throughout the first 2 years of the pandemic, just making sure that people we had served were good and had what they needed. And I'll say this, Jackson County, particularly in my experience, did a really good job of making sure people weren't hungry, weren't lost, and weren't suffering from some kind of medical episodes. And that's just a testament to the nonprofits and the county government working together. So, I mean, there were lots of communities where there wasn't enough food for people, literally, right?
That's a good point. And yeah, we're lucky we live here. We should mention the ramp program, because you partner with service clubs to build ramps for
Yeah, we
people.
partner with Rotary, and I'm a member of Rotary, and I've been a member of Rotary for like 13 years or something. Start out the breakfast, and there's also a noon Rotary. And Noon Rotary helped found disAbility Connections almost 100 years ago. In 2 years, we'll have been around for 100 years.
Oh my.
And we've been doing the ramp program for nearly almost 40 years. And what happens there is people can sign up for the ramp program. It's open now. There's about six to eight, but really six. So if you need a ramp, you should get in now. But then Rotary provides some of the dollars for it, and then they provide the work crews for it. And we also have a designer that came to us from outside of the community as a Rotarian, but loves the mission of doing that, Joe Natter. And so he came into our group, and he really oversees that. And then we build modules and build ramps for people. So it's a income-based, qualifying base for people who need a ramp to get out and can't, or are unsafely getting out of their house now.
Now, who is it that designs the ramps?
Joe Natter.
Oh, okay.
And so he was an engineer by trade, and then he just got really interested in it. The other part of the ramp program we have now going on is that we know that ramp program is getting applications now, but it only operates during the summertime because that's volunteers and nobody's working in the cold. So we've also developed a fundraising campaign called Ramp It Up, which is really to get people to give money so that people that need ramps in emergent situations during the off season, that we would help pay for ramp for somebody that qualified for the program. So last year we built one extra ramp that was a contractor ramp because of that. So a ramp can be anywhere between, the size is the big deal, $3,000 to $5,000. And so we were able to raise $3,000 and build an extra ramp. But we'd love to be able to build as many ramps as we have extra requests for, especially if somebody is not going to be able to get out of their house, or it's going to put them at deep risk to get out of their home.
All right, and you can make donations to that program, or really just disAbility Connections in general.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, we would love it. And if anybody needs anything, they can give us a call. We will try to answer their questions. And if we don't know, we won't run people around. We will get them an answer and get back to them as soon as humanly possible.
Awesome. Great to see you, John. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
The Executive Director of disAbility Connections, Jon Hart. We've got some